Hello everyone. Good morning. My name is Kendall Nelson. If this is the first time that you are joining me on one of my broadcasts, my name is Kendall Nelson of NelsonInsights.com. I am a wife, I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I am a business coach, and I give women the framework to build their own businesses so that they can find fulfillment in their work and build a business and a life that fits their lifestyle and what matters most to them. And today I want to talk about imposter syndrome. And I realize it's been a little bit of a hot topic, but it's something I'm battling at this current moment. And I thought it would be helpful and maybe prayerfully beneficial for both of us, all of us, to just talk through it a little bit right now, in the moment. Because these days I think entrepreneurship has been glamorized, if that's even a real word. And it's something that has been held up as the ideal standard of what life should be. You should laptop lifestyle, work on a beach, live wherever you want, and be in business for yourself. And that is the key to all the freedom and fulfillment that you could ever desire. And while for some people I believe that could be true, I also think that there's so much that goes into going into business for yourself. And there's so much that goes into the mindset and the resilience that it takes to jump out there and essentially put yourself on the market and say, hey, this is me, this is what I do, this is how I can help you. And coming from someone who has kind of struggled with self-worth a little bit, man, this is getting really transparent for a live. Someone who struggled with self-worth and understanding like the value that I have and the value that I can bring to others and their business and their life, and figuring out how all that works and like what it really is worth. It's really hard to jump out here and do your own thing and market your own thing and say, hey, this is what I can do and this is how I can help. And yeah, it's amazing and it works and it'll be transformative for you and for your business. It's really hard to do that. And that's just from a standpoint of, I guess, believing it for yourself. But then I think the other element is that imposter syndrome, which is that constant nagging, obnoxious little voice in your head that tells you, there is no one's going to let you do that for them. Who's going to pay you to do what you say you can do? Who do you think you are to be able to step out here and tell people you can help them build their dreams when you are still figuring out your own life? All those things that just tear you down inside. And the risk of it all is when you listen to that voice. Man, there's so much. When you listen to that voice, it has the power to stop you dead in your tracks. It has the power to make you, as I told my husband this morning, chicken out and say, okay, well, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I'm not the right person for these people. Maybe I don't know enough. And maybe I still have more figuring out to do before I can be helpful to someone else. Maybe I need to have it all together here for myself first. And then once I've perfected my whole entire life and process, then I can step out into what I already know I've been called to do and already know I've been equipped to do. But only after I feel that I have it perfect. Only then can I go out and try to help other people, because then I will be worthy. Then I will be enough. Then I will have the experience. I'll have all the things that we tell ourselves we think we need in order to use what we've already been given. And when you wait for that perfection, you paralyze yourself, because perfection is a mirage. It doesn't exist. It's something that we will forever chase after, but never attain, because it's a moving target. In our humanity, there will always be things that we can improve. There will always be things that can get better, that can be refined, that can look nicer, that can sound better, that can be better executed. But if we listen to that voice that says, who are you to jump out here right now with it not all the way to perfect and together, we'll never start. We'll never get out there. We'll never show the world what we have to offer. We'll never bring our gifts for the benefit of others. And this is something that I am, as I said, actively battling, i.e. currently today, right now. As you may or may not know, I've been kind of hinting at a new program that I'll be launching in a couple of weeks. And honestly, as the date gets closer, I get more and more terrified to do it, to get out there, because it feels like, well, what if nobody wants it? What if you spend all this time building something and no one comes? What if, okay, what's worse, what if people come and they sign up and they don't get anything out of what you have to offer, and you spend all this time like helping and trying and working with them, and they don't, what if they don't like it? What if it doesn't work? That's a real fear of mine, honestly. But what I've learned is that from my coaches and my mentors, what I've learned is you have to check all those thoughts and really identify where they come from. Because the one thing I know is that the God I serve, who created me in his own image, does not put out subpar quality work. Nothing my God does is just at a bare minimum. He does everything with excellence, which means we are all created with excellence. And there's excellence in us, which means all the things that we are able to do already, just baseline, have a quality of excellence to them. When all we can do then is add to that as we strive to grow and learn and hone our crafts and develop our skill sets and learn more about how we can improve upon what we already know how to do, what we're already innately gifted in doing, we only grow better. We're not striving to earn a place at the table of excellent performers, right? We start off excellent because we were created that way. And we continue to grow and refine and get better. But that just elevates our capacity to do amazing things. So that's one, like we are enough baseline. The other thing is, I know that the thoughts that come into your head, anything that is negative, that tears me down, that says that I can't, that says I'm not enough, that says that anything that would cause me to question who I am and what I am capable of, that's not from up here. That's not from him. That's not from the one who is telling me to go. That's not from the one who placed the desires and the visions and dreams in my heart. That's just not how he speaks ever. And his word confirms that. And even if you're not a believer, you know that if there's something that's been placed in your heart to do, it's that thing that you cannot shake. It's that thing that you can't ignore. It's that thing that keeps you up at night, but in a good way. The things that you really want to work on, the things that you're really excited about, the things that you're always brainstorming and strategizing. Okay, how can I make this work? How can I do this? If I could only do this, this is the impact that it would have. Those things, those dreams, those visions, those goals, those things come from a place of purpose and a place of destiny and a place of calling that drives you to do the best and the most with what you've been built to do, with what you've been uniquely wired to achieve. And so anything that comes around in your head that tells you you can't, you're not enough, you're not good at, it's in direct conflict with how you've been created. And it's a lie, flat out. It's a lie. It's a lie. And I think because that voice sounds so much like our own, it feels like we're second guessing ourselves. And we've learned through the glorious power of, I don't want to completely blame social media, but comparison. We've learned that if we don't fit into the mold, if we don't measure up to the same standard, if our output doesn't look like or fall along the same timeline as someone else's who is doing kind of what we aspire to do, that we fall short, that we have failed, that we aren't enough, that we are not the right person, that we're not the right fit. And all those things, they fuel this vicious thought cycle that keeps us stuck and stagnant where we are. And it keeps us falling short of what we are created to accomplish because we rob ourselves of the courage and the boldness to actually act on the things that we have been designed and destined to do. We fall victim to the lies that tell us that we can't, and so we don't even try. We become our own worst enemy in a sense by talking ourselves out of doing things that we've already been equipped to do. And again, that's not to say that there's no room for growth and improvement. There's always room to learn and to grow. And when there are people around you that you can learn from, by all means. I'm a coach and I have a coach. There's always something to learn from someone else. But I think that it can be a double-edged sword when it keeps us comparing instead of moving forward. When we stop to assess instead of act, and that's our perpetual state of just analyzing and assessing and never acting on what it is that we know we're supposed to be doing. That's when that lying voice in our heads, that imposter syndrome, really, that's when it wins, is when we stop long enough to become stagnant and to become stuck and never step into the purpose and the calling on our lives. Yeah. So that's what I've been working on today. I think it's just so important because, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times, there are things that only we can do. Only you can do what it is that you do, that you've been dreaming to do, that you've been desiring to do, that you just know, like, this is what I'm made for. It might be technically the same thing as what someone else is doing. Like if you're a photographer, lots of people take pictures. They do. But no one has your eye. No one has your editing style. No one has your aesthetic, and no one engages their clients like you. And so the people that would vibe best with you, the people that would glean the most from working with you and who would feel like you are the perfect fit, like you get me and you can totally capture what it is that I want to see in the photos of me or my products or my business, or you are robbing them of that if you choose to say, I'm not going to do it because I can't do it to look like that person, or I'm just starting off so small and I don't really have what I need. I don't think I should, I'll just not. And, maybe I'll just go do something else, or maybe I'll just wait and see kind of how things play out, and maybe I'll get to it eventually. by not starting somewhere, you are stealing the opportunity for growth and for success from yourself. And again, I'm preaching to me. So if y'all are just here for the sermon, that's fine. But honestly, I'm realizing that it's in those moments that you check that voice in your head and understand where it's coming from, and then compare it to the truth of like, okay, well, what have I done already? What have I tried, and how did it go? Have people liked it? In my case, have I had clients that have been so thankful and so amazed by the work that I've done for them and helped them to come up with or create? Yeah, I have. I've had clients that have been brought to tears. And like, I don't even understand how you just get me and get all of the things that, everything that I wanted to say, everything that you pulled it right out of my head, and I didn't even have the words to give you in the first place. Like, those are some of the things that people have told me. And when you get that kind of feedback, it gives you ammunition to fight that imposter syndrome, that voice in your head that says you are not gonna, this is not gonna work well for you. Because you can say, well, actually, it has worked out for me. I've actually done this really well, and I do know what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep going. And yes, I'm going to keep going, but I'm also going to keep growing. I'm not going to limit myself to where I am right now, but there's so much more for me to do. There's so much more for me to gain, but you only grow by going forward. You only, like, no plant grows by staying in the little shell of its seed. It has to like break out of that and push through some things in order to grow up and get taller and get bigger and really flourish and become what it's meant to be. We're not going to see the results of a full grown apple tree if the tree stays as a seed. It has to break out of that shell. It has to push through all that soil. It has to put down some roots, absorb all the things around it, all the nutrients in the soil in which it's been planted. It has to absorb all that good stuff in order to fuel its growth. And then it'll grow and thrive and flourish. And then you see the fruit. So again, two things from that. One is certainly not an overnight process. But two, it's only in the growing process that results are seen. You don't get results by sitting here and saying, okay, I have this awesome idea. I have this dream and this vision of creating this business. And it's going to be so amazing. It's just going to be great. And people's lives are going to be changed. And I'm going to help them. They're going to do so many amazing things because of what the solutions that I'm going to bring to them. I can say that all day, but if I sit at my desk and just write down a plan, and I've been guilty of this, which is why I'm using it as an example. If I sit at my desk and write down a plan, and that vision, that dream stays in my notebook or stays on my computer or in my notes app, who's benefiting from that? No one. Maybe Apple Analytics on how well my notes app is functioning on my phone. But like no one, no person that would benefit from the programs that I've designed, the materials that I've created, the systems that I have built with blood, sweat, and tears. Like no one benefits from any of that if I just leave it on paper. I have to then say, okay, facing all this fear, battling this voice in my head, I'm going to say, all right, I've done all this work. I have ammunition that says I can do this and I can do it well, by the way. I know who created me and I know he created me to be amazing. So I'm not going to fall flat on my face. I'm just not. I'm not. And if it doesn't go as well as I'd hoped, then maybe there's an issue with my own expectations, one. Or two, maybe there's something else for me to learn and that's okay. But I take all these things and I have to put it out there. And I have to say, you know what, guys? Next Thursday, I am launching this program, and I will tell you more about it on launch day. Suspense. But I'm doing it. I am doing it. I'm doing it. And I have to keep saying it out loud, and I have to keep putting it out there because you have to hold me accountable, because other than that, I run the risk of chickening out. But if I chicken out, no one gets the benefit of all of this. And all that's been put in me, and that I've been created to do, and all this strategy and vision and all that flutters around in my head 24/7, it will be for no purpose if I don't apply it to somebody else's benefit. So I'm going to do it because I have to. Jeez, sorry, there's been a fly in my house for like 24 hours, and oh my God, it just came out of nowhere, and that was terrifying. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Oh, that's so bad. Okay. Y'all, live. Regrouping. Okay. The point is, you go and you grow and you just learn as you move forward. And come hell, high water, or flying insects in your face, we push on because there's a purpose that has been created and crafted just for us. There's things that have been instilled in us uniquely that no one else can do. And if we bury these talents, if we sit on the amazingness that has been put into us, we're accountable for it. Doesn't matter. Whatever we choose to do with the gifts that we've been given, we are accountable for it. And we can choose to invest those things and see the return by investing our gifts and our talents into others and helping that and using that to grow others as well as ourselves. Or we can bury it, and then we still have to answer for that decision too. And ultimately, I know who I answer to ultimately. But we still also have to answer to ourselves, because I know what it feels like to say, hey, there's this vision that's been in my head. This is what happened with my book, honestly. I don't know if you guys haven't heard the story. I wrote a book, Purpose to Impact. Where is it? I have one. No, that's not it. I have one. I'll show you. Ta-da! Okay, so this right here, the super fast story behind this is, God gave me, it was just 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and the words just started pouring out, and I'm writing. Okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Write a book, clear as day. Me? Write a book on purpose? Me, the one who doesn't have her whole situation figured out? Me, her, no. And literally, honestly, that's what I said flat out. Was like yeah, no thanks. I can't do that. And I didn't. I sat on it I started it, and then I got to the point of it almost like, of the draft being done, and then the next step was actually the publishing part, and I chickened out. And I sat on it for a year. A whole year. I was like, nope, not me. I can't do it. I let the little lying voice, it won for a solid 365 days. And, but that thing in your head and in your heart, when you know you're supposed to do something, it doesn't leave you, it doesn't leave you alone. This is what I'm called to. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like, all of this has been like bubbling in my heart and in my head for so long. I can't just ignore it. It doesn't go away. And I talk about answering to God for like all the things that he's given me and wanting me to do with my life and my talents and my expertise. But I couldn't even do it with myself. Like, I had to answer to myself. I'm like, this is driving me nuts. Like, I can't even sleep at night because I'm just so like battling this fear of I can't do it, but the drive to know that I'm supposed to do it. And there is no, you don't get any farther from fulfillment than when you try to do something else and leave behind the thing you know you're supposed to be doing. Y'all, I can't even tell you how many times I tried to like go get a real big girl job. because it was safe, because it was stable, because it was what I was supposed to do after getting all these expensive degrees. But I knew I was supposed to be in business for myself. I knew it. And I was like, yeah, no. Same with the book. No thanks. And you see how that turned out, right? It doesn't leave you alone. You jump into the next thing, the thing that you think, okay, well, this will work. I can do this. The thing I feel comfortable doing, but that's so far beneath my calling that I am just settling doesn't even begin to describe it. You feel that every day. Every day you wake up to go to work, you're like, at first it's fine, and you're like, nope, it's okay, I got it, it's okay, it's okay, we're gonna make it work. And then eventually you do that for weeks and years and months, and it gets to the point where you loathe going, because you know this is so far from what you want to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing, and that nagging feeling doesn't leave you alone. All that is, it's a higher calling that tugs on your heart. It pulls you in the direction of where you know you're supposed to be, against the grain of fear, against the current of popular opinion. By popular opinion, I don't necessarily mean like cultural. It can be. In my case, it was more so family, sort of. Kind of peer pressure of like the expectations of, this is what people do when they get Ivy League degrees. Like, they go work for these huge firms and they get paid a lot of money. They don't just wing it and kind of start their own thing in something as abstract as purpose, social impact, coaching. What is that? So all that to say, when you get to a place where you are so unfulfilled and so fed up with running from that calling, that draw, that drive to use what's been essentially baked in to who you are, to serve others, to serve your family, to show up in a way that only you can. When you stop ignoring all that and you step into it and just embrace it and say, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. And I can do this. I've been equipped to do this. And I've been empowered to do this. It might not be an overnight wild 6-figure success, but you go and you grow and you learn. And I eventually got back on board and I published the book. And is it a New York Times bestseller at this current moment? No. But who said that it was going to be? I was told to write the book. Period. That was it. So whatever standards I set for myself on top of that, that's on me. That has nothing to do with the directive that I was given. Starting this business, launching this program in a couple of weeks, whatever expectations I set for myself. Don't get me wrong, goal setting is important. You have to have something to strive for. I'm all for that. But the expectations you set for yourself do not validate the truth of the calling and the purpose that has been assigned to you. So we don't get to judge. What I mean by that is we don't get to judge the success or failure of something based upon arbitrary standards that we have placed on what it is that we feel like we're supposed to do. So for me, if I was told, hey, write this book, and I do, and it's not a New York Times bestseller in 2 weeks, that doesn't mean that I wasn't supposed to write the book. That doesn't mean that the content in this book is not going to change someone's life. Because guess what? I've been told otherwise. People who've read it and done the work in here they've sent emails and messages and calls, texts, tell me this has changed my whole outlook on who I am and given me the clarity to figure out what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And now I feel encouraged and empowered to do it because I can, in one person's words, get off the sidelines now and get in the game and really take action on what it is that I'm supposed to do. And those are the kinds of wins and victories and reinforcement that you have to keep in mind when you are starting something new, because that imposter syndrome, see I'm circling back. We're getting back to the point of why I started this. That imposter syndrome, I've learned, it doesn't go away. It nags for every time you go to start something new, every time you do something different, every time you decide you're going to take that next step of faith towards fulfilling the purpose that you have and building the legacy you want to build and having that impact that you are driven and destined to make in this world. Every time you take a step of faith forward, there's going to be opposition. There's going to be that nagging little voice that's like, nope, bad idea. Don't do it. That's not going to work. It's going to be some version of that. And so the importance of recognizing that voice, learning where it's coming from, and checking it with evidence to the contrary to shut it down and silence it, that'll give you that fuel to stay fired up about what it is that you're doing. And one thing my mom has always told me is you won't experience opposition when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You won't experience opposition when you're just kind of settling and not, if you're not onto something, you're not going to face opposition, is essentially what she says. And I don't mean like when life comes crashing down. It doesn't have to be that serious. It can just be, for me, it's as I get closer to a launch date, as I get closer to, releasing something into the world that's in line with what I've been building and dreaming and envisioning to kind of bring to fruition in my own business. As I get closer to those like pivotal points of like, okay, we actually have to put this out into the world now, that it's like you just feel that like rising fear. You feel that rising tension, that rising anxiety of like, oh, maybe this is a bad idea. And I know that when I feel that rising tide of all that, it's like, okay, I must be onto something. This must be getting ready to make a really big difference. So that was a really, really roundabout way to say that the voice that tells you you are an imposter, the voice that tells you that you're not enough, the voice that tells you that you don't have enough, that you're not ready enough, that you're not equipped enough, that you are not the right person, that voice is a liar. And you have so much proof to the contrary. You and me both. So as I talk myself through this, I want to encourage all of you to know that the pursuit of purpose is not without its obstacles, but the profit on the other side is well worth the investment of your time and your efforts and your energy to get what it is that you have inside out into the world. So, as promised, I am staying true to my word. I will be launching this new endeavor next Thursday, right? Calendar check. Next Thursday, May 2nd, is the big announcement day. I will be doing it here, live, 3 p.m. Thursday. Did I say March? May. So you have to hold me accountable to that. It is coming. It is so big that it's scary, hence this broadcast. But deep down, I am excited because I know that for the people who have been searching and seeking and striving to find the right way to build their own dreams, to start something that will be fulfilling for them, but also fit into their life, people that are looking to kind of free themselves from building someone else's dreams instead of building their own, this is for you. And it is going to be everything that you've been looking for, everything that you need, not only to get started, but to sustain that. So more details to come in about a week and a half. If you want to know more about it, you can go to the link in my bio and tap the first button if you're ready to do work that fulfills you. And you'll put yourself on the notification list for when I launch, and you'll get all the fun details and an exclusive opportunity to participate with that. Or you can find out at nelsoninsights.com and drop your email in there and let me know that this is what you want to learn more about, and I will be sharing more about that soon. So thank you for joining me here today. I am going to get back to the grind and getting all this stuff ready for you guys in the next week and a half. Remember, if nothing else, remember, anything that cuts you down, that tells you you're not enough, that voice is a lie. You can, you are well able, you are equipped, you were built for this, you were made for this, and you better do it, because only you can. So, the world needs what you have. Don't leave us hanging. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining me here. Have a most wonderful day. Bye-bye.